hosts of Occultists Anonymous and our Mage the Awakening Chronicle Into the West. As I mentioned previously on the episode with Craig, everybody's dead. We now are picking up the pieces. Chris has no idea what Craig has done, so all of y'all can just enjoy the schadenfreude and dramatic irony of what is happening here and knowing what is to come. I think Chris may know.
Oh no! Shit.
Yeah, we made a couple comments in the so you really don't know. Yeah, okay, good stuff. But shout out to all our patrons who support us, and we greatly appreciate it. I'm hemming and hawing as I remembered that I didn't actually pull the list of names up. We're gonna do it live, he said. Thank you to Nexus, Nick, Polka Dot Hubris, Jeff, Starfish, Verhex, Alis, Ethan, Vincent, Alsred, Porter, Klaus, 1D4 Con James. I finally finished my PhD. Foog, Mozart, Foog, and Mozart D Minor, Rialfio, Terran, Thomas, Camo, Shexarai, Chris, George, Adele, Vortex, Milo V3, Zoltan, Aiden, Bernie, Other Guy, Doc, Moku, Emil, Puppeteer, Alexander, Catfeathers, Michael, Perry, and Thomas. Thank you all so much for your support. And I hope reading that in a different order made all of you go, what happened there?
I was not. I couldn't do it.
I clicked a random sorter this time just to change things up. And because I couldn't be arsed to get it back into alphabetical. So when we last left Isabel, she was politely, actually, no, it wasn't even Isabel, it was Petrichor escorting Father Gabriel and Sister Natalia of the Mexican missionaries that are at least partially a cover for some seer operations, and walking them back down to their camp after Sister Natalia had been found sneaking out and exploring around town, which the Coven had pretty much said, yeah, don't do that. You're here, that's fine. If you want to proceed in your sleeper roles, that's fine. If stuff is out in public, cool. Don't be sneaking around at night in the dark. Where Baba Sarah caught her, along with Max, and the tent. The tent spirit
of the tent.
Of the revival, that's the word I was looking for, found her first and puppeted her back to that was just so exquisite. I'm going to send the tent thing to go get them. Okay.
I feel like I have really underused the horror of spirits in this campaign.
Yep. They're everywhere. They're available, and at your level of Arcana, it's really hard to say no, even if you're not casting a spell.
Yeah,
because just spending a point advantage so you can touch them and do Bane levels of damage. Which I had forgotten, but counting as Bane means you're also destroying points of essence when you hit them. That's nasty. So we pick up there with Sister Natalia basically saying that if it was her destiny to have something happen up there, she was excited for it. I think you had let slip, not necessarily slip, but you had name dropped the serpents and them kind of getting a little tensed up and being, what do you guys know about serpents? They're surprised you knew. And Natalia saying, well, if that's part of their plan and I have this exarchal dream that I need to get up there, it's an obsession is going to be a problem, air quotes there, then she's going to be a handful. Now, Legba has said, oh no, it's cool. Nobody can get to it right now because I've stitched it up in a quarantine. So people just walk through the area. They can't actually enter the trigger zone for the weird funnel. spell. Yeah. So that's where we left off as you were, walking down uh, towards their camp out towards the farmlands.
Yeah, so about on like the edge of town.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I don't care what your dreams are or which oppressive god from beyond wants you to do what. Here in this town, the mysteries and the people are protected by my coven, and we serve only one god, truly and faithfully.
Question: do you mention the coven, or do you even step it up to the order? Because you
True.
guys have become, yeah, okay, and kind of flex the idea that it's not just the five of you
Mhm.
now with Catherine, but includes other allies in other places, and yeah, okay. So Natalia seems a little resigned to, like, this is she has lost this battle, right? And is now aware that she is in a battle, and that she is, like, there is opposition to, in her mind, what had been a really simple task of climb the hillside and find where you're supposed to be, more or less. And she's like, okay, so this is going to be a little bit more. Father Gabriel is less resigned and more accepting. He's like, I had no idea the sister was going to be doing this. I apologize. He is pretty profusely like, my bad. Um, and I would say, yeah, apologetic, and like, what can we do to smooth this over? And he says it in a very, like, used to making deals, used to passing a bribe. Like, how do we just make this go away?
The first thing you can do is tell me all of the other mages that are with you.
They kind of look askance from one another and not match your eyes. And Father Gabriel says, this is a secret that I cannot share. I'm sure you, and like motions back towards the town, understand that, our identities are a sacred and, powerful thing, that we should not be giving them out on behalf of others.
Then have them come here under their shadow name and introduce themselves.
Father Gabriel,
Otherwise, there will be no accordance of any measure of protection for them. The next person I find investigating something will be subject to the laws of my whims.
he nods, and smiles, and kind of nods down towards the six guns, right, the belt, and nods a sheriff in more than just one way. I understand. I will, if there are any other mages in our entourage, I will have them come present themselves formally, as we as we did. You know, um, we we
Perhaps
didn't.
more formally so.
Oh, that's true, because they didn't do it very formally, did they? Uh,
Nope.
so he nods and goes, "Very well. This is your place, and we will respect it." And this is all with, not necessarily slimy, but that same, I have
Mhm.
money, I know how to make this go away, I'm used to
This
getting
is an
my.
inconvenience more than
And like, fine, the riffraff are trying to impose rules. It's not really a problem for me, so fine, we'll go along with it. But it's very much a we're going along with it, and less of we feel the need to obey kind of thing. Are you gonna escort them all the way over to their camp, or was that
To
because you
the
said
edge of
edge of
it.
town? Okay.
Yeah. I'm starting the conversation once we're out of
Okay,
town.
gotcha. Yeah, so
But
you're having
yeah.
this conversation in the dark of the
Hmm.
farm because
Yep.
you guys had left as the sun had fully set, no longer
Hmm.
just like the nice, beautiful painting of purples and oranges, and now it's properly dark. Which I assume a familiarity and then a good bit of moonlight. Oh, actually, probably not. It's been really cloudy, hasn't it?
Hmm.
So very comfortable for Isabel, even if it's maybe night vision.
Yep.
For them, kind of relying on you a little bit because probably not a good idea to cast a spell right now while being
No.
escorted. Yeah. But eventually they get towards where there's a couple campfires set out and a lot of the missionary contingent are there. They definitely traveled with servants and staff.
Right.
But yeah, so you kind of step back and give them a little nudge forward, like off you go, and they make their way back into their camp and don't even throw a glance back over their shoulders.
Okay. I guess as they're walking away, she will say, "I will stand here for the next hour, awaiting any that would come to introduce themselves
Okay, cool.
to our order."
Yeah, I wasn't sure if it was going to be something like that. They have to come find you, head up to the sheriff's office. Okay, cool. Yeah, you can. Yeah, they hear you nod, and like the two of them obviously separate to go to their various
Right.
gendered sections
Hmm.
of camp. There's not a whole lot of nuns that have traveled with them, but Sister Natalia finds her way that way, and Father Gabriel starts talking to servants and some other of the uh, clergy, um, and quiet conversations. And you watch as like the one message that is whispered and sent to a couple people and they start to spread and word kind of passes around camp as find a nice conveniently placed fence to lean upon.
I'm
um
gonna say I think she draws a little bit of power from a symbolism from her cabal mate and stands in the middle of a crossroads.
yep, yeah, right there at the threshold of camp.
Hmm.
uh
Hmm.
Ralph will be pleased.
Yep.
Yeah. Stand right there guarding. So we got Max. There we go. And we're on the
Yep.
farmlands. We just hit the big four. Um, and yeah, as the representation of the coven, stand there. And yeah, you watch as the camp hits kind of kicked anthill vibes
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
and then just fades down in about 15-20 minutes. Things look like they're back to normal, and in fact people start to seem to be heading to bed. Fires are like doused and nobody comes to greet you
Interesting. For the whole hour.
for the whole hour. Yeah, by the time that hour runs out, there's maybe one or two people like sitting up that look like they're lay people, servants or something like that, that are just kind of on guard. They don't have weapons or anything like that, but they're sitting with like a small fire and just kind of keeping an eye on because admittedly they're in unfriendly territory. They don't know people here and they should be trusting, but you only trust so far, that kind of thing.
Hmm. Um.
I will mention because I realize I haven't really described their camp. They do have the uh basically like tarp walls up in a couple different places to create
Mhm.
some sense of order to the camp.
Sure.
So from where you're at, you have a pretty good view of like the main thoroughfares of the
Hmm.
camp, but there are, the women's convent. You guys are the coven have a
Right.
little like kind of cordoned off area so they can come and go more freely, stuff like that, or more privately, I guess I should say. It's not nearly
Yeah.
as free, yeah. Um, but yeah, so there are some blind spots. Um, Not that like they're all that hard to get around, even mundanely.
I think Isabel's going to. This camp is roughly in the direction of. Oh no, it's not by the.
It's out near the farms, almost right next to the uh, uh, liberated slaves,
Mhm. Sure.
um, liberated people, not slaves,
Right.
um, who are just
How far away
nuns.
is the? How far away is the like hollow locus?
Oh yeah, that's back up the
That's a ways
way,
out.
cross the
Yeah.
bridge, and then follow the river for 10-20 minutes.
Okay. Is there a place where I could try and find like a trying to think of a good spirit that could be a good spy in this situation? I was thinking a spirit of like darkness or something like that.
Definitely some spirits of darkness. You definitely know that there are going to be various animal spirits that might be appropriate. The big one that jumps to me is owls. You have some of the like the
Mhm.
ground owls
Mhm.
that like
Sure.
burrow owl. Yeah. So you
Routes,
have
yeah.
them. And the big classic bats.
Mm,
Besides just the spirit of darkness, especially in some of these spots amongst the farms, some of those places where like light
mhm.
just never gets to. Yeah.
What about Theo's basement?
Yeah, but you can't get into it because you don't have
Oh,
matter. Yeah, because that thing is literally a
right.
tomb.
Damn it.
Yeah. Side fact, that's actually where Theo is right now.
I see.
I was like, so we really can't go there. Otherwise, I have to play with. Actually, no, I could get away with it. But yeah. Yeah. No, you can't get in there right now.
Okay. Um, I like the idea of some bat spirits. So I'll walk back up out of view.
hmm I mean,
And,
and it
and
doesn't take long, especially with fields here, and this is
exactly.
September, so we're heading into it's not quite harvest, so you've
Right.
got tall grain, kind of stuff, possibly corn out here. Yeah,
Off the
there's
boats.
lots of places to just disappear into.
Yeah. Um, yeah, and she'll put out a call for some spirits to come to her aid.
Yep. And yeah, I like the idea of bats, especially because we have, you know, in my head this visual, this straight up Nosferatu looking elongated face, the bat nose, um, like nasty little, bat imp thing that's 3 feet tall, just
Mhm.
it is 90% wing, and it just kind of comes down this big terrible shadow and then drops down and it's just whoop, and just kind of looks up at you making this squeaking shrieking noise that you can hear but everybody else is completely oblivious to, unless they do have
Mhm.
some, and head tilts and like then kind of sidles closer, watch the nostrils flaring, sniffing at you.
Like to earn some food tonight.
Maybe way squeakier though, like all
Mhm.
that echolocation chirp sounds.
Sure. Um, yeah, just like a squeaky bat version of the first tongue.
Hmm.
Um, and Isabel rumbles like thunder in the first tongue, of course.
Yep. Different dialect,
Um,
same language.
yeah. Um, I would have you be my spy
Yes.
and investigate what the people in the camp down there are doing. All you need to do is find a good roost and keep your ears open.
And like these giant, half the size
Mhm.
of it, giant ears twitch. Um, and like there's this eye of, well, actually, I don't even think it's an eye of, it just kind of looks half now, half later. And it just opens its mouth.
Sure. Um, I think Isabel these days is keeping like
If
4 or 5 points of essence at least.
And if Isabel isn't walking around with a little side flask of
Yeah.
liquefied essence, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that.
Um, yeah, so she just holds out her wrist and lets him have a little chomp.
I liked it.
Yeah.
Isabel has been like, you know what? This is just the easiest way to transfer
Yeah.
essence. Just nibble away.
It's so intentional and like I don't know. It's just
There,
it's
it's
very petrichor.
yeah, and it's very I like the idea of Petrichor is the boss who's making not demands, she's making deals, but then the payment method is very yielding and like,
Of
okay,
her.
hmm
It's
so
not just like here's some scrap. It's here is me
yeah,
in payment of things you do for me.
yep. So it takes a big old bite and like, it's not pleasant, but it is going right after just essence. Um, and it's a little bite and a kind of gnaw, and
And it
not
just
a
laps it
ripping.
up a little bit.
Yeah.
Like if
Uh,
you've seen how actual like vampire bats.
yep. They make the little bite and then lick. Yep. And then it just hops up into the air, like, and there's just one beat of its wings, and then just this little glide down. And us in the modern realm are like, ah, yes, Batman on his glide in, as opposed to real bats, which are just like zipping around like
Yep.
little and it just kind of swoops, and then rather than finding a perch, it just kind of lazily
Mm-hmm.
circles.
Nice.
um
I
and
have a
like
bat fact, by the way.
share the bat fact.
There was a recent study where some biologists have managed to interpret bat chirps and
I think I saw
communications.
that. Yeah, I didn't look into it.
And basically they're all cussing at each other the entire time they fly around for getting in each other's way and like complaining and like yelling at each other when they all go to roost and stuff. And I'm like, oh, they're just a bunch of siblings all fighting.
Yep.
It's
Get
cute.
out of my way.
I
I'm
love
not
bats.
touching you.
They're so good.
Bats are so good. I'm very
Little
pleased
flying
that
foxes.
when Amanda and I go on our walks, usually even in the winter, we usually spot a couple zipping around. So yeah,
Mhm.
bats are very good. Love our bat friends.
Cool. And yeah, just on his way to go fly over, I'll just say, find me before you go to sleep for the day.
Yep, that's true. Do they even rest? I guess they wouldn't really even rest. It would just be more of just as a bat thing, not being out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. Yes. And yeah, you are not difficult to find because literally every spirit for,
Just ask
two
around
counties.
if you
Yeah.
yeah.
It's like, yes, we know the thundering one. She
Uh-huh.
she imprisoned the other thundering one. Yep.
and bitch slapped the river.
And now rumors are talking about how she's allying herself with her. Yeah. I like that. That's who we should have summoned up. We should have summoned up one of her handmaidens. Don't do
I'll
that.
believe you. The thought had crossed my mind.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah. So
I've spent 2 weeks, 3 weeks
recovering.
plotting out
Yeah.
how to be this chaotic and then how to dial back all my worst instincts to an acceptable level of chaos.
Right. Where do we head from there? for your sake, and like because I'm sure there's some telepathic communication that's going around amongst
Right.
all of most everybody at this point. Legba has dispatched himself astrally to go find
Mhm.
Sir Lucan,
Right.
and then had the weird thing of the Herald, the Goetia
Mhm.
leaving the realm. Theo
Right.
escorted Catherine back home after she did a good job doing the Focus Mage site, and Max was setting up to guard that place for the night. So everything seemed to be kind of toning down for the night.
Um, trying to think of what she would do. I kind of expected to have a longer conversation with those people, but it's
Yeah,
okay.
they,
It can
they,
happen.
there's some shenanigans.
Yeah.
Oh, I will
Um,
actually say because it's relevant to you. Yeah, Jules also reports in telepathically that the revival has like settled down and is like wrapping up, and people are starting to head home. You can even see a couple folks coming down from the bridge down to the farms and stuff like that.
um,
The whole see you at home, honey kind of message.
yeah. Yeah. Um, I think Isabel's just like really tense and nervous. Like there's just so much that is not adding up.
Hmm.
There's so many things that are overlapping, and it's just she can't put it all together. She doesn't have the right tools for it. I think there's a bit of like for the first time in a while there's a bit of like insecurity.
Hmm.
Um
Yeah,
like
missing a bit of information, missing a bit of
yeah,
arcana, bit of
yeah,
power, something. Yeah.
yeah. And so I think she she gets off, into a field of wheat and or whatnot
Hmm.
and grows her wings and gets up and away and just sort of coasts up high.
I like that. Just
Um
under the clouds.
just under the clouds, yeah.
Yeah.
Um and just sort of soars around town with like all of her mage sights on.
Cool. Yeah, from up here, and with one dot of forces making it very possible, zoom in, and can just kind of watch. And yeah, we have the aerial drone effect. The hovering helicopter watching as people are leaving in little family groups, friend groups, and stuff like that. A lot of people don't have far to walk to lead the revival. The revival itself is in that little camp, so those folks aren't going very far. Madame Robert's is closed up because she was
Right.
basically there and providing uh, help for the revival. So yeah, you can basically watch everybody, and at this distance and with zoom in stuff, you have the ability in a small enough population, you can do the head count thing and be like, where is everybody? And okay, there's that family, that family, that family, there's everybody together. Those two really shouldn't be together, but okay, I already know about that, and I'm not getting involved because Isabel doesn't know about that, and it might not make a judgment call. And yeah, and
So
then and you watch as Jules walks hand in hand with his wife towards their house.
telepathically, hey honey, what you doing?
And you watch as Jules but has this big grin on his face and looks over at you, air quote you, and grins and it's like, and then telepathically, like, or is this,
Don't panic.
huh?
Don't panic.
Jules, unfortunately, does not have a poker face. His steps keep going, but his head goes from looking and making a,
She's dive bombing.
oh yeah, I'm sure. And like making this kind of quizzical face at you to suddenly like snapping his attention forward and like still holding. And you can see, as you're diving in, we had that great cinematic zoom in on the hand holding your hand. And like it kind of like let go, clench, like what do I do with my hand walking? Where are you?
Coming.
Great. What do I do? What do I do? What do I do? Where do you dive bomb to, Miss? Kind of out in the middle of everybody. Like think, a concert getting out, but on a much smaller scale. So there's lots of people around.
I don't think she cares in this instant. I think her husband being in danger is enough of a threat. And the intimate horror of someone pretending to be her.
Oh yeah.
So I think it's a full-on like Peregrine Falcon wing tuck dive to smash into this person.
Into the person? Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Great. Well, we're gonna have I'm making a note here. Well, we gotta do. Well, actually, no, we don't have to make a note here. You need to roll an active hubris for exposing folks to magic. It's been a minute.
At the end of the scene, right?
That's what I was double checking. Because I know we had done that before, but somebody was like, "No, you do it at the moment." I'm like, "Huh?" Yeah, I don't actually see anything because I remember talking about it and we had done stuff at the end of the scene, but
Right.
we were talking in the chat and I was like, "Oh my god!" In the Discord, www.yeetinto.space, and we were like, no, you actually do it at the time because you might end up being rampant or megalomaniacal in the middle of the scene." Yeah, we can do it at the end of the scene, which is fine by me.
Right there real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, I guess it doesn't say.
Mm-hmm. I feel like it's something that we crossed up with breaking points because I believe breaking points are done.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, so this is allowing a sleeper to witness obvious magic. So that's a 3-die offense. Remind me what your vice and virtues are.
Faithful and impulsive.
Well, I
think they cancel each other out.
I was to say, I think they both apply. And I don't believe either this would not be related to any obsession that you have. So it is just a straight up 3-die roll. And you, of course, cannot spend willpower on it.
Yeah, I'm aware. 1 success, baby.
They cannot be stopped.
They cannot be stopped.
Yep.
So what hubris.
Petrichor is able to examine and understand the ramifications of her actions. She does not lose a point of wisdom as probably not wearing spurs, booted feet, a thunderous drop kick, and then in my head, like, because
she kills her wings at the point at which she's sure she's not going to die when she hits the ground, right?
Oh yeah, no, I imagine because there's probably some level of pull the punch because it's your body impacting as well.
Exactly.
Yeah, and so for a fleeting second, out from the dark sky comes, because you have the big white wings, didn't you? Yeah.
Like a golden eagle.
Yep. And just a body hits, and like some people look up, and it's dark. There's only a couple homes that have lights, oil lamps, and a lot of folks probably have them on tonight as they come home. But it's definitely shadowy enough, and Jules was up there walking with Isabel, and there's Isabel, though she's turned around now, and there's a body there. And it's Isabel. Now with your mage sight on, which is quite a few. Mage sight, active mage sight. Let's double check in what we can see here. Dramatic or exceptional failures, motion, environmental tilts, life. Oh, duh. Life is a very, very obvious one. This person is clearly shape changed to look like you.
Okay. Are they conscious?
I'm gonna say no. Just without even rolling. The unexpected drop kick from the highest rope into solar plexus. I think they're well, I don't know. It'd probably be they're probably winded more than actually unconscious. Yeah. Right. So yeah, you hear the sucking gasp of somebody who's had the wind knocked out of them, and
Isabel draws her gun, has it pointed,
and that causes a little bit more of a reaction. Now, on the plus side, you are the sheriff. You are well known. You are very recognizable. But you drawing a gun on somebody is not a normal occurrence. And you can hear it from around. Hey, what's going on there, sheriff? And
stand back. This person tried to attack me.
Okay, yeah, let's get a roll on that. This will be at a -3 because effectively you are trying to manipulate the crowd.
Telling a story, right?
Dig it. Yep.
You said -3?
Mm-hmm. Okay. But that will be for basically everybody around.
Yeah. All right. So -3. I'll do a Willy. Cancel that. I get my 1 bonus. 6 successes.
They cannot be stopped. Yeah. And
immediately.
And so, like, several of the folks who are like families, some of the folks who had like teenagers, stuff like that, they're just like, okay, sheriff's got it under control. Everybody kind of move this way. And a couple of the some of the good old boy miners and stuff like that are like, you watch them rolling up their sleeve. Need help, sheriff?
No.
Yeah, no. Imagine very quickly. No, I got it. Everybody go home, kind of thing, right? And all right, and you can see some of these guys are like, we'll beat somebody's ass. Like, sheriff needs help. We'll dogpile somebody. But
Jethro, if you would like to be helpful, go find me Deputy Sanite.
Yeah, I can be helpful. Yes, sir. Man. And shuffle, run. Because momentarily deputized, right? Let's be honest. Sheriff Isabel is a competent woman at this point. Like, everybody knows it. There's been there's been enough
things to happen that
yep.
Her reputation now self-enforces, right. I think, is probably the point, right?
Right. And for me,
somebody who shows up and goes, "A woman sheriff,"
and then they show up to the shooting contest, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, they're like, "Oh, never mind. I will shut my mouth whenever I am in pistol range of this woman." Yeah. Exactly. And so, yeah, Jethro, runs over to, I imagine, the sheriff's office. Because somebody's probably there.
Yep.
And Deputy Sanite steps out, and she doesn't quite cut the same figure that you do, because you have the 6 guns, and she prefers a whooping stick.
Sure.
and what the Les Enfants do in terms of manual exercise and physical strength. Nobody, people have dared Isabel with the guns. They look at Sanite, they look at her forearms, and they go, "No, I'm good. I ain't trying that." And so she comes, and she's one woman clear Madame Robert's bar kind of, and walks over, and you're standing there, and well, she's headed towards you.
Yeah.
And you
In the
have a
meantime,
chance. Mhm.
she's Isabel's just like, you
Don't
may
move.
consider showing your face.
Uh, and in that moment, like the hands are there, and in the dark, your face merges, becomes more masculine and darker, and what appears to be honestly, I will go ahead and say what you would recognize as probably a Haitian man, in terms of facial appearance. Like, this is straight up one of the people that you are used to seeing, but is not one of them. This is not a familiar face from town at all. And wearing clothing that now fits him a little awkwardly,
Uh-huh.
but is close in size to you. And yeah, actually, referencing, does not have the uh les enfants, we were minors and also part of our
Right.
mystery
Doesn't have the
cult is
build.
being super strong. Yeah.
Right.
And also has an accent that has not been tempered by a decade of being in Purgatory Bluff. Lots of
Right.
stuff that kind of points to, no, he's not actually a friend of ours. And says, perhaps we have gotten off on the wrong foot.
You don't fucking say.
Is and kind of his eyes flick up to Jules, and excuse me one second, folks. And
Hey, cat.
And Jules is like a little horrified, and just like, what was, like, to what purpose, right? He's trying to do the math of why somebody
Was there any magic I could tell if it was on Jules?
No.
Okay.
Jules doesn't look like he was under any kind of magic.
Nothing that I can tell of. Right.
And just kind of on the blunt side, looks like you, talks like you,
Right.
Yeah. And he's like, are you going to just shoot me?
Nope. I don't get to learn much if I do that.
He nods. He's like, yes, there's much that could be learned, perhaps, with
Stand up slowly.
Yes. And like slowly, like very much like the maintaining eye contact. Well, actually, he can't really maintain much eye contact. He just keeps staring down the barrel.
Right.
This is a very persistent cat. Can we just chill? There we go.
Can we do baby? Yeah.
Oh yes, we are very happy with this. Okay.
Yes, that's great.
Mm-hmm. Those beans, bro.
So yeah, so basically just like stand up slowly.
Yeah, and
come with me to the sheriff's office.
Okay. Yeah, he doesn't seem all that like put off by the fact that he's wearing women's clothes. Well, I guess you don't even really, I mean, you wear trousers, so it's not like he's wearing a dress or anything like that. But yeah, just the awkward clothes. And yeah, follows you very quickly. You hear at one point a grunt from him, as if somebody had just kicked
hit him
his
with
ass.
a stick.
No, kicked his ass.
Oh, nice.
Then you meet Sanite. So you probably look back and see Jules marching behind him, and totally took just.
And just like telepathically, she's like, "Good one, honey. I'm proud of you."
Yeah, because Jules is livid. There's probably a telepathic grumbling that just the entire coven is just picking up of just yeah, just like no way to express, and he doesn't know what is going on, which
Right.
it's Jules that bothers him about as much as it
Yeah.
bothers a mage.
Right.
And so Sanite kind of meets you midway and like looks over at this guy, and again it's like, no, you're not one of mine, and like looks at the clothing that is literally an exact copy of what you are wearing today.
Right now. Yeah.
Yeah. And just like, she's like, I don't know what is going on here, but this needs an explanation. And like,
Mm-hmm.
comes up
We're
behind
about to have
him.
one.
Yeah. Comes up behind him, and the stick just slaps onto his shoulder and just like nudges him forward so you can lead the
Sort of
way.
pushes him through the doorway. Yeah.
And just right into the cell. Probably whatever town drunk rowdy gets like, okay, yeah, go home, walk yourself. Jethro, can you see him out? And yeah, is put into the cell. I mean, clearly some form of shapeshifter. So, well, actually, yeah, you could recognize that it was Life Arcana, so you do know
Right.
had a mage spell on them.
Yeah. I've got no pretenses that the cell will actually hold you for any length of time if you're determined to get out. So merely as a formality, let us just observe this as a construct of our discussion.
He, sits down on that, wood bench, hands in his lap, kind of sitting upright, and nods and is like, yes.
You're with the Catholics.
No response.
Question mark.
I came with them.
Let's start this with an easier thing. What is your name? How do you present to the world as a mage?
Oh, that's much easier for him. I am Form.
Form.
Kind of makes a shrug, points at his clothes.
I get it. Do you want to offer anything to start this conversation, or am I going to have to, pull teeth, so to speak?
Like he's mid about to start trying, then pull teeth, and like looks up at you and gets that like, oh no, she means that literally. I came with the Catholics. I have a mission here, and I am willing to negotiate information for freedom.
What is your mission?
I'm to locate a grimoire. Am I free?
No.
He didn't think so. You can see he's definitely trying to apply charm, which very well, especially with like this being his idea of like form, like charm
Right.
and smooth talking is how he gets by.
Listen, buddy, I don't know if you understand this beautiful phrase I've learned from some of my English friends, but English speaking friends, but you can't bullshit a bullshitter.
He nods. He's like, okay, well, let us make a deal then. What gets me free?
I'll let you go when I'm satisfied with understanding why you were impersonating me, why you were in a situation that could have been dangerous to my partner, why you were about to commit a theft in my home, all while we have made it very clear the circumstances with which folks are to be welcomed in this town.
And he immediately, we'll say, brightens up and brings up a hand. Actually, I was not aware of those rules. I wasn't here or there when you put them down. I start from the beginning. I arrived with the Catholics, though they probably did not know I was there. Again, kind of
Possession.
motions at himself. Um, well, one or two may
What-
have been aware that I was there, but turned a blind eye, perhaps. I don't know. I didn't ask. And yes, I was to locate a grimoire. I did not make this connection, like pointing from him to you to Jules. I just knew that he was married to you and that he was the wizard in town.
Mm-hmm.
I
So you thought he was the mage?
or the one that works miracles and magic. My information is clearly suspect.
And who might have given you such suspect information?
And he holds his hands up. He's like, "You will not like this answer, but I don't actually know.
Do you work for the serpents?
I work for a lot of people. I'm freelance."
What would you do with your freedom?
Probably go back home and rethink all of my decisions.
Probably.
I may go to San Francisco.
She tries not to react to that. The thing is, Isabel doesn't have much empathy. She doesn't. She's not gonna know whether she's lying or not. So
No,
it's just the threat of like imminent death that she trusts that most people would, talk.
Yeah. And you don't have Prime, so you can't even
Right.
do the easy trick.
Exactly.
Like I said, I was very pleased with this idea.
Yeah. Uh-huh. You're freelance. Tell me more about that.
I have a set of skills that works very, very well, as you can see, um, deep from within my soul. That makes me particularly sneaky and good at infiltration and imitating people and getting people to say things to their friends and loved ones and other confidants.
And you employ these gifts.
For the diamond, for the seers, for nameless orders. I'm not particularly well liked, but I am well paid.
I see. Um, are you aware of any other gifted folks here in the town right now?
There seems to be a lot of them.
Yes.
I was led to believe that there was a couple that made this their home. And so I came in quietly, looking like a servant and just blending in with the nobodies. And then there
In
was
the camp with at least two other
Yes, well, I don't think he says. Yeah, he says, I knew there were some mages in with the Catholics, and whether or not they could tell who I was or what I was, they didn't seem to take notice.
You know there were some? Do you know how many? Or who they are?
Trying to think how he would play. Oh yeah, he says, I know at least the leadership is because Sears can't stand taking orders from a sleeper, even in a guise.
Gabriel and Natalia. Yes.
Mm-hmm. I don't suspect that they had any others, but I wasn't really looking. Sorry.
Understandable. You were focused on deceiving my husband and stealing from me.
I was intent on deceiving everybody. Your husband just happened to be the closest person. I wanted everybody to believe this is not helping. And I wasn't necessarily going to steal from you. I just needed to locate the thing.
What do you mean?
I just had
You said
to.
we needed to get it.
That would have been Drew's misspeak. Yeah, locate is probably a better way for him to have said that.
What would have happened upon locating it?
Then I report its location and holder, possessor, potential traps, and safeguards, and report that to my patron, and then leave town before they try to steal it from you.
How do you communicate with your patron?
I have a familiar that is currently held,
Hmm.
and I can communicate with my familiar and vice versa. And then when everything is done, the familiar is released.
Relinquished.
It means that my patron has a connection back to me if I were to misbehave.
I understand.
Yeah, it's like people do not trust me.
I can't imagine why.
I could not either. Just to help Chris out here a little bit, Jules.
Yeah.
No, you're good. Jules kind of steps up and goes, so what was this grimoire, this book that you were looking for? And Form. You didn't ask his first name, which I had repeated in my head. So I have to remember his name. Yes, Form says, yes, it is a stone book. A book made of stone.
Sounds strange.
Strange, large. I figured it would be very easy to find, but I didn't even get into his house. Your house. Your house.
Mm-hmm.
And well, I check in with Chris. Chris, you recognize the grimoire?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's the one Catherine came out of her awakening with.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. I figured that was the one from
Mm-hmm.
the get-go, but to make sure. Because there's also the one that hasn't Cloak been adding to Jules's stuff? Haven't they been doing
Yes,
that together?
yeah. Jules has a legit library of
Right.
grimoires, not necessarily supernal ones.
Right. Okay. I'm not having the most brain day today, so I'm trying to think of like what else
Yeah.
would be like helpful to ask here.
off the top of my head, the
or what
things
she could push for.
right. The only other things that you might try and pry, though how much you'll get, who knows, but is, anything that they might know about the patron, which I'll go ahead and tell you. He doesn't know much. They basically find him in the astral. And so it's a safe, anonymous-ish way
Sure.
to communicate and find people internationally before ye internet.
Mhm.
And he travels mundanely, so I guess that's true. He has been on this particular well, he doesn't travel mundanely. He travels physically, the way most
Right.
Theursis would at this time period. We fly. He has been in the Catholics camp for a couple weeks before arriving. Um Trying to think other stuff that he would give up very easily just in conversation. Overall, he is pretty damn forthcoming. Gig is up. He's not going to get paid. He just wants to keep his life. And he does even offer. He's like, if there are services that I can render, maybe to return the favor of not being shot. Perhaps we could work something out.
Are you in any danger for not having completed this mission?
No, my reputation may take a hit, but um, I am well, uh, a slippery one, and no, no. Though they may prompt me to try again to locate it, but
You're
sure, good.
smart enough not to try that again, right?
No, if I were to want to find out about the Stone Grimoire, I would come ask you all about it. But even me being caught now, any information I provide would be suspect because you now know somebody is looking for your grimoire. So you could move it, rearrange it, change its shape, tuck it away somewhere on the other side of the gauntlet. Um, my information is useless now that I've been caught.
We are actually not that secretive of our secrets here.
He kind of looks away and then looks
Your
back.
patron could just come and ask.
He, like uh his eyes kind of narrow. He's like, yes, the information I was given was very suspect now. They said this would be said it was a difficult place to find and get into. And
Really?
yes, there are magical safeguards to get
Hmm.
in. I saw them on the way in. They did
Sure.
not seem
It's
to.
not that hard to get in.
No, I noticed that as well, which was when I thought things might be outdated, or maybe I came to the wrong purgatory bluff because there are so
No.
many of them.
It's only hard to find or difficult to get in if one has ill intent.
See, if somebody wanted to steal your grimoire, they would have ill intent. This is smart. I didn't have any ill intent. I just wanted to be smarter and know a
Sure.
thing. Hmm. Loopholes.
Yeah, we're finding more and more of those.
Well, and I say this in no jest. And like looks over to Jules. You have a amazing wife, and she is so merciful and graceful and sweet. And then looks back to you with this grin. He's like, I think I might actually get out of here alive. Yeah, very much a coward in a like
Right.
save your own skin kind of way, but yeah.
All right, for him. I'm gonna unlock the door. Please leave my town. If you venture back to Purgatory Bluff, you are welcome to enter openly and interact with myself and other members of my coven in a formal way.
Like his eyes kind of get a little wide in surprise. He's like, but you would let me back?
Why not?
Like, tried to, and then puts, again, inventing air quotes before they actually happened, steal from you.
It's Purgatory Bluff. People don't get here without having done at least a little something wrong.
He nods his head and kind of like peers past you, like out towards, like Sanite, who, he kind of has this familial recognition, and Jules, and like, yes, I had noticed that it's a town of misfits, he says as he kind of like leans back.
All right.
I don't think I will be back. Town is a little small for someone like me to actually
Find
work.
Yeah. Understandable. But it was more extending that, well, on a personal level, because I do believe in second chances. But in the case of a second chance for your mission, I'm giving you the context in which you could arrive.
So I will actually try to appease my patron by saying that maybe they should just approach openly. Maybe that will help.
At the very least, you must know who they are if I'm to make dealings with you as a go-between.
And like he kind of grins. He's like, "Do you want me to tell them to come?"
You can give it to them as an option, and if they so choose, and can make it inside the town,
Nods his head.
then sure.
Well, maybe I will still get paid. And then like kind of dusts himself off and kind of looks down at his clothes and like back past the Sanite. Well, I guess you guys would have closed the door. Why wouldn't you have closed the door?
Oh yeah, for sure.
And says, okay, well, I will not need these any longer. So
Thanks for the spare set.
he grins. He's like, yes, exactly. And then with like a whisper and a blink, shrinks down to like a rat.
Okay. I was gonna say like a moth or something and flies out the window.
Yeah. No, rat. Rat stands a little bit, and also stands a little bit more chance of like, because of moth, owl.
Bats.
Bats. And like, watch as this guy just turns into a rat, crawls through the bar doors, and like comes back on his hind legs, raises one little paw, and then and squiggles out under the door and is gone. And Jules kind of looks over at Sanite, who like the two of them have been behind you, engaged in the conversation, and just like I kind of almost liked him.
Yeah.
And Sanite is shaking her head, and she's like, if he comes back.
Mhm. Sanite, I probably got it from here. I doubt I'm going to sleep much tonight.
Oh, okay. Well, then I will go. Oh, Madame Robert is probably closed still. I guess I will go see what I can have to relax this evening, and then like embraces you in a tight hug, pats Jules in like
Mhm.
this little half hug, and then makes her way out with doing the badass like arms over the
Mhm.
stick,
Right.
yeah, and just kind of
Um,
saunters through town.
and Isabel like shuts the door with her back up against it
Mhm.
and talks to Jules. Like, I cannot wait to hear how merciful and beautiful and wonderful I am.
He's like, you are. And to be fair, you were very flirty leaving the tent. And so I was very distracted
I
until
see.
you said something in my head.
Uh-huh.
He's like, listen, you look just like you. Like, and you can see like he is all sorts of like, this is very, he doesn't feel like he's done anything wrong, but he's like,
No,
this is unfair. Using my own wife against me. Um, but
she
then
didn't look that much like me.
looked exactly like you. Exactly like you. Um,
I can't
and
believe you would just confuse me with some
some man.
man.
Yep. He laughs and he's like rolling his eyes, like, and then like reaches for your hand and says, technically, Abigail is waiting for us,
Hmm.
um, so she can go home. So,
Sure. And
uh,
if she has to wait a little bit longer, then that's fine.
oh, okay. And the door to the sheriff's office locks.
Uh-huh.
Got it. Yeah. So later that evening,
Right.
you return back
It's
to
like
home.
2 or 3 in the morning now at this point.
Probably not.
No,
Uh,
probably not that late. Yeah,
yeah,
that's
because
right.
the
It was
sun
just
has
sundown when we started
right.
all this shit. So.
Yep. So it's pushing 9. Um,
Really?
oh no, I guess that's true because
No,
we're
because it
we're
was like
into
a long
September.
walk with them too,
Yeah,
and
that's true. Yeah, so yeah, we might be getting close to midnight.
yeah.
Um, and Abigail is there reading bedtime stories to the kids because she's weak and they're persistent and whatever. Like she's gonna be up all night until you guys get back anyway. So sure, we'll keep the kids up and they can sleep in the
Sure.
morning, whatever. And yeah, when you walk in, she is reading from a book, and there's no way the story that she is telling them is in that book. She's just making
Mhm.
bullshit up.
Mhm. Um, girls,
They're like the door opens and both of them are like groaning because they know they are going to have to go to bed now. Go ahead.
how many times have I told you you're not to take advantage of how sweet Auntie Abigail is?
They're like all the time, but we do anyways.
Hmm.
Abigail, and like, and because she throws on the heavy English accent, right?
Mhm.
Which sounds like dad.
Sure.
Yeah. She's like, they're fine. Like it's just more stories that I have to make up.
Girls, I hope your daughters are just like you.
The greatest curse that every parent can wish upon their children.
Mhm.
Um, and like admittedly the girls are in bed, you
Right.
know. So Abigail like kisses them on the forehead and like, okay, you all go to sleep. I'm going to talk with your parents, so you guys kind of withdraw a little bit.
Right.
And
It's not
Abigail.
a big house, but just like to the other end of it.
Yep. The yeah, I think Abigail is dramatic enough to like kind of look out the window and be like, it's quite late.
Yep.
We have fun at the revival. And like actually, Jules has probably got this dumb grin on his face. He's like, sure.
We had fun after the revival.
That does explain some things. Well, that as a babysitter, I think this is the best thing that I can give to you all,
Abigail.
ma'am.
I have had to escort 2 different sets of wizards out of my town tonight.
Oh, this has gotten exciting. Because I'm sure Abigail already knows that like there were wizards visiting.
We've got Catholics with dreams of their gods.
Oh, that's always good.
Yeah. And someone that convinced my dearest Jules here.
Jules is like, I'm gonna go check out the girls.
Convinced my dearest Jules here that they were a perfect facsimile of me.
Jules is like, listen. Yeah, Abigail's like, oh, you poor child. Did at one point have 2 of your own wife there in front of you and not know what to do with yourself? Jules is like, it wasn't funny. Well, actually, it was funny watching her fall from the sky feet first into herself. That will be a memory that just lives on forever.
I do believe some people are going to be thinking that the punch was spiked at the revival.
Oh. Well, I mean, to be fair, they were walking with Jules, and yeah, I can see.
It's a better explanation than the sheriff falling out of the sky with wings to attack a version of herself.
Yeah, I'm very curious what everybody's going to be talking about in the morning. But the fact that there's not a riot outside sounds like everything was handled.
Yeah, I think I convinced him. I do have the silver tongue, you know.
There's some comments, and I'm just letting them just disappear out of the back of my head before I continue. And Abigail kind of nods and says, "Oh, okay, well handled." But I noticed that you are not covered in blood, and I didn't feel the earth shake as somebody was smote. So, what happened to them?
They weren't even a thief, they were a spy.
Gross, but wait, spying on? Oh, on you? But okay, yeah, I can
Coming
see
here.
This. Oh, man! Why did you stop them? Could you imagine them walking in and seeing me? And me seeing them? Oh, that would have been wonderful.
Well, you know how we are.
Yes, I do. And
Thinking
honestly,
doesn't often.
Well, and to be fair, it better be done there than with my precious angels. So,
Right. Thank you again for
of
always
course,
being there for them.
and literally any time, if anything happens to you, I will steal them away. So, and then I will teach them to brew potions in the woods. Maybe we'll get Theo to teach them a thing or two, and we'll make proper witches out of them.
Would be wild to have a 3rd generation.
It's true. Have you told Abigail about your? Yeah, that's true. Why wouldn't you have? Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I don't think there's any secrets between them.
No, not at this point. Yeah. And she kind of nods. She's like, "That's true. Yeah, generational." She kind of looks over at the 2 of them.
Don't
No, but I'm wondering, because he was almost a Mastigos. You are a Thyrsus. Did they come out, Thyrsus and Mastigos? Did they end up in one of those weirdo Moros or?
He's the Theosis too, right?
Yeah, you both
Yeah.
are Thyrsus. Yep.
Yeah.
Because I mean, if
Yeah.
they turn out a Brimos, at least that's like
Oh,
in the family, right?
I sort of.
I mean, the forces
To
are there,
qualify for the
right?
legacy,
Yeah,
right? Yeah.
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 Excuse me, Acanthus is what she probably would have been more upset about because they don't get
Yeah.
forces. Yeah.
Yeah.
But well, if spying is afoot and there's problems, I can delay returning to the Tempest for a little while if you need a hand around here or
Be nice. I haven't even figured out who the mages are with the revival yet.
you
Did we?
yeah.
Oh wait. Okay.
Yeah, because similar situation, though it's not the outright leaders.
Right.
But yeah, brother Dexter
Oh,
Thompson and sister Eliza
right.
Stewart.
Right. That was where we like figured it out, but didn't have any like weren't able to like hard press. Right.
No, the only major stuff that you got from them is that they were abolitionists, and so
Right.
after that, you guys were like, okay, we don't need to press on them too much. Generically, we like them, and they've been
Right.
following the rules.
Right. But we
Whereas,
also like, yeah.
meanwhile, the Seers were like, we know your dad, and you're like, okay, hang on, we got to figure this shit out.
Yeah.
But yeah, Abigail kind of shrugged. She's like, yeah, I mean, I don't want to get caught up in like coven politics because she's
I
always been
understand.
so
Right.
solitaire. But I mean, if you need a favor, if you need somebody to just babysit or uh, follow somebody around town, or
Sure.
yeah, I can help. Or we're still cleaning house at the Tempest, but
Yeah, I feel like it's probably a good idea that I haven't been back just yet.
no, it definitely sounds like you are stuck here for a while, at least till the camps leave.
Yeah. I can't help but feel like it's all puppeted.
That
There's
is
just
yours.
so many things happening. There's too many people here. There's too many mages. There's too many secrets.
She kind of she looks at you and she's like, "Have you prayed about it?
Yes.
Like with fate?"
Yes.
Oh, okay. She goes, "Okay, yeah,
But like even under having caught the seers out and forcing some truths out of them, some concessions out of them, like they were beyond surprised to hear me mention the serpents.
that's serious for you. It's hats on hats on hats, or
Right.
this person being an agent for that person, being an agent for somebody else. They stabbed their own so frequently that I think that's the only reason the Diamond Order is still around is they just can't organize to be a solid front."
Yeah. Yeah. Do you think our order will survive?
I mean, our order is growing. Well, excuse me, your order is growing.
No, I mean the Tempestari.
Oh, the legacy? It's going to be bumpy. Um, I don't know that the
I fear for how long the not taking sides will last.
I feel like we will see a split and then a fight over the Tempest itself. And then half of us will continue. The other will be run off. It will be difficult to properly initiate if some folks can't even come to the Tempest. Well, unless us nameless all organize and become a watch over the Tempest.
Yeah. I don't know why I'm suddenly so worried
Well,
about
in the past 48 hours, you have had double the mage population.
at
Uh,
least.
People that you've had to chase around. One of whom you said had exarchal dreams. Then you had a doppelganger, uh, attempt to seduce your husband. And Jules is like, there wasn't any.
You said she was flirty.
um, yeah, it's like a bunch of things have happened in a short period of time.
No,
And,
but before that, even.
well, Catherine was having those dreams.
Yeah, I suppose.
It sounds like something is happening or is about to happen. That's why I'm going to hang around a bit longer. Sleep on it. See if you have your own dreams.
Hopefully of a different sort.
Yes. And if not, well, tomorrow you have your coven.
Dude,
Share it with them. Perhaps it's time that you all stop being reactionary and take some direct action.
haven't been to London for a while.
Oh, I would just love to hear all about that hellhole.
Yeah.
All the places I would just love to just bring the Tempest to and just let it sit for a couple days. Just wash that place clean. But that's unlikely to happen anytime soon.
No,
But yeah,
it seems happy where it is.
which itself is a little upsetting. Used to be much more mobile, but it
Mhm.
seems quite happy to just sit there in the Gulf.
Yeah.
Hopefully it starts moving again. Maybe that's what's wrong with the world. The Tempest has stopped moving. That would, But you have a coven. You have me. You even have Jules. Together, you all can handle this. We can handle this. Whatever this is.
Yeah, whatever this is.
And she kind of like looks up towards the sky. And she's like, maybe this will be like a decade ago when it just finally left and moved on. We're probably not that
Hopefully.
lucky.
I don't think so. I would really like for Heartbreak to not come to Purgatory Bluff.
Yeah, and it is a little bit too far away to just fly up and just punch it.
Yeah.
Though, if we she starts thinking, she can see her doing the calculations. She's like, no, that's probably just if we just do a little tiptoe through the astral, perhaps, and we can find its representation in the
You've
Anima
lost me.
Mundi. Yeah. And she like you.
Heresy, sister.
Yeah, zero dots in mind, sisterhood.
Making shit
like,
up.
yeah, like nah. Though I think the adults sitting quietly and just having quiet conversation is probably a good spot to pull the camera away before the two of you head to bed and Abigail sneaks off. I will mention she sleeps in twilight. And so it's once you have enough spirit, you can make anything comfy back there. What's the spell? Spirit Mance. Yeah. So yeah.
As she's leaving, Isabel will just be like, "There's a bat that might come to see me at daybreak. Don't be alarmed if he
flies by.
Streaks past you." Yeah.
She's like, "Yes, the spy you mentioned. Yes, that's fine. Me and Bats and I get along." As she motions to her, like soup, like she doesn't wear the hat in town, but the black dress, yeah. Sure. Yeah. She picks up her legitimate broom off your doorstep.
I met her on I was gonna say I met her on a broom.
Yep. And so yeah, as midnight, I like the idea that like the stroke of midnight, she's leaving. And going to bed. You all retire to bed, snuggle your daughters, and yeah, that's a good spot to stop, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
That is good.
I don't know where the hell that was going.
The jewels. The original plan had been that you would have found Jules and you canoodling on the porch. Yeah, but the drop kick from the angel from the sky, I was just like, oh, that's just so much better. Yeah. I was like, how do I subtly say go home? Oh, never mind. I'm going to fly around and keep an eye on things. Okay, this works. Good stuff. Great. All right. Well, thank you all for joining us. As mentioned earlier in the episode, you can join us on Discord, www.geekinto.space. Come talk about this episode, past episodes, your sessions, ask questions about game mechanics. I guarantee we have enough nerds that whatever random game system that you enjoy playing, somebody's probably played it or has a book and they can give you their take on it. Yeah. So it's not just mage stuff, we promise. And then if you want to support us monetarily, that's www.staylucky.club. Support us on Patreon. Again, not used for anybody's full-time job or anything like that, but it goes towards buying upgrades, equipment, art, stuff like that. Can't remember if I mentioned it in Craig's episode or the episode before that, but yeah, maybe get some art commission for some of our long-term NPCs like Jules and Abigail and maybe Sonny Tay. And yeah, it's like, yeah, we could do that. And Drifter, just random NPCs. Ever since, shout outs. Wards and Witchcraft did a crossover episode with me. That's been out for a little bit, and there's an episode with Craig in it and an episode with Ralph in it. And did you ever get in contact with them? Oh, okay. That's a bummer. But yeah, there's been some stuff, and I know Craig has actually done a couple episodes. So if any of you like Weird the Seer, one of my favorite named characters, really up there with Mammon. Yeah.
Like a ball.
Yeah, I know. When you made those characters, like, these are what we want to name them, and I asked Craig, Weird the Seer. No, it's Weird the Seer. That's the okay. Okay. Those are the bad guys. Nope, don't care. All right. So yes, there may be quite a few episodes apparently with Weird in it. So if you want that wily acanthus redhead, she's around. Cool. yeah, I got kind of off on a tangent. Next episodes we'll see Ralph and Legben, what they're up to, and then we should have a
Passion Max.
Ash and Max. I pinned her down. This will actually be the first solo session that
Mhm.
Ash has done. So yeah, that'll be fun, and very curious is there plans. I have ideas, but she sounded like she had some ideas too that she wanted to talk out.
Oh, yeah.
So we'll figure that out. Um, Otherwise, just to date this episode, happy holidays, y'all. Hope
Yeah,
they were
Merry
good.
Crimble.
This will definitely come out well after Christmas and the New
Yeah.
Year's, but I'm hoping.
Happy Valentine's Day, everyone.
Yeah. Oh, there we go. Yeah. Let's see how well we can aim
Old
that.
shot.
Yeah. And hopefully you guys had good holidays and welcome to the new year and all that good stuff. We'll see you next time.
Happy 4th of July, everybody.
Jesus, we'll just drop a couple of them in here. See you next time.